Hello, 6 o'clock. Good morning and welcome to the Class Breakfast News. The news is live on Class 91.3 FM in Accra, Ho FM 92.5 in the Volta region, Dagban FM 102.5 in Tamale, Radio 92.1 in the Upper West region, Radio Power 96 in Spain. Around the world, join us on classfmonline.com. Coming up, Parliament approves multi-expenditure commitment to improve Ghana's domestic revenue mobility.
The committee is satisfied that the proposal represents a significant reform aimed at modernizing VAT administration, improving tax compliance.
Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament is set to file out here request over tax administration agreement.
We will be filing the necessary RTI requests to demand for copies of the underlying contract eventually and to scrutinize the terms and the fiscal implications that it has for all taxpayers in this country going forward.
Also coming up in this bulletin, Judicial Service to roll out a nationwide court digitalization in October to enhance swift justice delivery.
The judiciary formally ushers in a new era through the implementation of electronic filing, electronic authentication, and the electronic service of court processes as the new norm for the administration of justice in Ghana starting from 1st October.
These plus many other stories, including African news, coming your way shortly.
This is the Class Breakfast News.
Class 123 FM.
I am Elizabeth Aidoo and you're welcome to Class 91.3 FM. Let's settle for the details of the news. Now, just days after being convicted in the Samre Boy illegal mining case, Chairman Wontumi has filed an appeal seeking to have the High Court appeal set aside the entire judgment delivered by the Accra High Court. Bernard Ntwibosiako, together with Akonta Mining Company Limited, is challenging the July 2026 conviction handed down by the Accra High Court Criminal Division 4, presided over by Justice Audrey Kokuvi. In a notice of the appeal, the appellate says they are dissatisfied with the decision and they are asking the Court of Appeal to overturn the entire judgment. They argue that the convictions are unreasonable and unsupported by evidence presented during the trial. The appellate also contend that the trial judge misinterpreted the division of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006 Act 703 as amended and exceeded the High Court's jurisdiction by interpreting constitutional provision they argue falls exclusively within the mandate of the Supreme Court. The Court of Appeal is expected to fix a date to hear the case, where Chairman Wontumi and Akonta Mining Company Limited will seek to overturn the High Court's decision. We'll bring you more details on this developing story. Now let's go to Parliament, because the minority in Parliament has announced plans to file right to information request to obtain details of 3 tax administration agreements it opposed in the House. The agreements approved by Parliament on Tuesday will allow the government to engage service provider to implement the fiscal electronic device policy, the Ghana domestic revenue collection platforms, and the cross-border e-commerce VAT monitoring and collection system. The chairman of Parliament Finance Committee and member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central, Isaac Adungo, says the initiative will modernize Ghana's VAT administration and enhance revenue collection.
Engage a service provider to assist with the implementation of the fiscal electronic device for the Ghana Revenue Authority. The committee is satisfied that the proposal represents a significant reform aimed at modernizing VAT administration, improving tax compliance, reducing revenue leakages, and strengthening domestic revenue mobilization through the deployment of secure digital technology.
That's the chairman of Parliament Finance Committee and member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central, Isaac Adungo. Meanwhile, the minority, however, opposed the agreement, arguing that government failed to disclose the duration of the contract and the total financial commitment involved. The member of Parliament for Walewale, Dr. Kabiru Mahama, explained the minority's concerns.
This is a financial commitment, and they expect to commit government for indeterminate number of years, because in the proposal they have not even specified how many multi-year commitment they want to give us. That's the first reason. Mr. Speaker, the proposal and the memorandum did not specify the financial cost of this transaction to the people of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, you cannot commit the people of Ghana at large, and that is basically what they wanted to do. Mr. Speaker, in the report and the memorandum, they specified that they wanted to procure, for a start, some 40,000 electronic devices. Mr. Speaker, the cost of the devices, the cost of the SIM cards, the cost of the establishment of the Fed unit, the cost of, infrastructure upgrade, none of which was presented. And at the committee, Mr. Speaker, when we requested for SIM, there was assurance that that we provided as a guide to the committee. Even as we speak and we sit in the House, Mr. Speaker, that has not been provided to the committee. That is the first reason why we thought that this agreement we cannot agree to. Mr. Speaker, the second reason is the fact that an assurance from the minister to the integration corps. Mr. Speaker, in the long run, businesses are expected to buy these devices and they are expected to recover the cost through what you call depreciation recovery. The cost of this intervention to small businesses and even requiring businesses to put costs upfront is actually affecting the short-term sustainability of business. And that was the second reason why we objected to it. Mr. Speaker, the third reason why we objected to this was because there was no lack of clear enforcement strategy.
Thus, the Member of Parliament for Walawale, Dr. Kabiru Mahama, speaking on behalf of the minority on the floor of Parliament yesterday. Now, after the debate in the House, the minority in Parliament announced plans to file RTI information request to obtain details of the 3 tax administration agreements it opposed. Ranking on Parliament Economy and Development Committee, Kojo Nkrumah, says the minority was not provided with enough information to properly scrutinize the agreement before they were approved in the House.
The Minority Caucus has opposed these 3 transactions primarily because the majority side is refusing to disclose very significant pieces of information that are required to allow us to fully participate in these transactions, and that's why we have opposed them on the floor. But we want to make the point that while the majority side goes ahead with this, number one, we will be filing the necessary RTI requests to demand for copies of the underlying contract eventually and to scrutinize the terms and the fiscal implications that it has for all taxpayers in this country going forward. Number two, we want to serve notice in particular to the companies that are looking to participate in the fiscal electronic device transaction that what has happened here, which is the blank check that the majority side has procured for the government, does not amount to a parliamentary approval, properly so-called. And so you participate in this transaction at your own risk.
That's the ranking member on Parliament Economy and Development Committee, Kojo Nkrumah. Now, moving away from that, the launch of the National Urban Policy 2026 to 2035 has accompanied by government commitment to recruit architects and engineers to improve urban planning. The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, says the recruitment will be based on professional competence and would also help strengthen planning system nationwide. He says the initiative would also help prevent people from putting up buildings in unauthorized areas and also reduce the need for demolition illegally structured and constructed structures.
On the 25th of
We'll bring you that sound bite subsequently. Now, the Police Professional Standard Bureau has launched an investigation into the death of a key suspect in the murder case involving 2 youth in the Upper West region who died shortly after he was rearrested. Abu Tindani, also known as Master One, age 35, died on Saturday, July 25, after he was arrested in connection with the killing of 2 youth on November 23, 2025. According to the Upper West Regional Police Command, the suspect has been on the wanted list after allegedly escaping arrest in May 2026 and going into hiding. The police says efforts were made through the paramount chief and his elders to get him to report and assist with investigations before his eventual arrest.
This month, suspect Abu Tijani, also known as Master One, who also happens to be the youth leader of Wichao, was arrested in Wichao for his involvement in the murder of 2 young men in Kandeo on the 23rd of November 2025. The young man has been on the police wanted list after very, very intensive and coordinated intelligence. He has escaped arrest once. We've made a number of appeals through the paramount chief and elders of the place of Wichao for him to report and assist the investigation. In all these, he has not been able to avail himself, and he fled the town into hiding until on the 25th, when we were able to arrest him, even after a very fierce struggle with the police, leading to the injury of 2 of the police officers. But he was successfully arrested. We have gone into interrogation with him. He's admitted to his involvement of the murder and the subsequent conveyance of the bodies of these 2 young men.
That was the Ghana Police Service. The judiciary is set to roll out a nationwide digital court system in October, a move aimed at reducing delays in court proceedings and improving access to justice. The announcement was made by the Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni during a grand derby in Accra to commemorate the 150th anniversary of the Supreme Court. According to the Chief Justice, the full digitalization of the court forms part of ongoing judicial reforms designed to make court services more efficient, accessible, and transparent.
The judiciary formally ushers in a new era through the implementation of electronic filing, electronic authentication, and electronic service of court processes as the new norm for the administration of justice in Ghana, starting from 1st October this year. Beginning in October, when the legal year starts, we commence automation of the courts across the country, starting with the Supreme Court to be followed by the Court of Appeal and the High Courts. This is not mere technological flourish. It is a statement of institutional direction. It reflects our determination to ensure that access to justice is no longer unnecessarily constrained by geography, bureaucracy, or avoidable delay. The administration of justice must increasingly reflect the realities of the 21st century. Technology should never replace justice, but it should make justice more accessible, more efficient, and ultimately more responsive to those it exists to serve. This reform forms part of the broader e-Justice Plus agenda, through which we are steadily building a modern judicial system that remains faithful to its enduring values while embracing the opportunities of a rapidly changing world. At the same time, we have undertaken what is perhaps the most comprehensive review of our rules of court in more than 2 decades. The existing rules have served this nation well.
That's Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni. On his part, the chairman of the Deba Tawi Akpafeda, the 14th called for reforms to safeguard integrity and independence of the country's highest court.
Very importantly, I would say, as a nation, we all have to support in making the judiciary and for the Supreme Court independent and strong. One way to do it is to take a single look at the way we appoint our justices. From the beginning, they are made to be impartial. And also, absence of an upper limit to the number of the total number of Supreme Court judges that allows adding, satisfy political objectives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen.
That's the chairman of the Deba Tugby Afede the 14th. Now, the launch of the National Urban Policy 2026 to 2035 has been accompanied by government's commitment to recruit architects and engineers to improve urban planning. The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has been speaking on this development.
The National Urban Policy and the National Slum Upgrading Policies, and these 2 things will bring a major shift in our development landscape. By this, I had a promise from the Minister for Finance already that come this 3rd quarter or 4th quarter, is going to give us some financial clearance to do some recruitment of expertise. And it is not going to be just a general recruitment. There must be professional recruitment to make sure we strengthen some of these cases, to be able to get the needed spatial planners, the needed architects, the needed engineers to drive this so that people will not build them for us people we are going to do demolition. We are not interested in demolition. But if you don't have the necessary quantum of development and spatial planners and architects and engineers who will do the planning to make sure that the technical men who will do the inspection. We are the only country where engineers from assemblies are those who go for development inspection of building inspection. You need technical inspectors who will be doing the inspection, spatial planning to know whether the buildings are built according to plan and layout.
That's the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim. To some African news, authorities in Kenya have launched an investigation into the mysterious death of 14 elephants. The wildlife official says samples from the carcasses have been sent to laboratory to determine whether the deaths were caused by diseases, poisoning, or other factors. We'll bring you more details on the stories. For now, this ends the Class Breakfast News right on Class 91.3 FM. For more news and updates, do log on to classfmonline.com. The morning show continues with Charles Akrofi and the team. Do stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. I am Elizabeth Aidoo. Have a good morning.